Welcome back to your bi-weekly Forge of Empires news recap. We've got a lot to cover, from whether the game is profitable, the roadmap for the next few years, and an exclusive reveal of InnoGames' next 2 titles. I was planning to start with Update 1.276, but unfortunately it came out too late to include. Therefore, our main story today is figuring out whether all the money you're dumping into the game is making InnoGames more money. The answer is yes, absolutely. From the Q4 2023 financial report, we've learned that the number of paying players in Forge of Empires has gone up year over year. The Halloween event was weaker for spenders, but it seemed to rank highly for my audience, and the winter event did quite well for monetization. What really surprised me was the fact that recent events have been motivating especially older, established players to spend, and even more than that, specifically browser players. That's right, the very group that supposedly is going to quit due to Guild vs. Guild being removed is the very group that is seeing a lot of growth in spending. However, there's one more thing that we can see from the financial report. InnoGames will be releasing 2 new games soon, but we don't know too much about them, or do we? I'm happy to announce before they do that Heroes of Fate and Heroes of History Epic Empire is coming out soon. We don't know many details on it yet, but InnoGames acquired the trademark for the name back in November of 2023. My guess is the game will launch towards the end of spring, and believe it or not, we'll actually get an event themed for this game. You see, we have very early assets for the Fellowship event and a brand new History event. However, the Fellowship event is named Hero, and we usually start getting minigame assets too. Therefore, it's likely that these are actually the same event, the Heroes of History event. The most obvious support for this being the case is a single asset, the achievement for the event. It's named, you guessed it, Heroes of History. With that being the exact same as the name of the new game, and there being both Hero and History event assets, it seems likely they're related. I wouldn't be surprised if there were incentives in the event to play Heroes of History, or an event running at the same time in the new game to give us rewards in Forge. We can also get a hint at the art style of the game, and it seems to be another cartoony design like Rise of Cultures, suggesting it will be a mobile game. Hopefully it's fun. As for the second new game in the pipeline, I believe it will be Food Fight Tower Defense, which was acquired as a trademark in December of 2023 by Inno. It sounds like they're trying to diversify their portfolio of games a bit, as a tower defense game is a little out of the ordinary for InnoGames. The target date for that game's release is sometime in 2025 or later. Moving on, let's talk about something that's actually confirmed by the developers: the plan for Forge of Empires in 2024. At the end of January, they posted an announcement talking about what their big goals were, and it looks quite promising. They plan on reducing repetitive tasks such as army management. Does this mean that we'll finally get army loadouts? Guilds will be improved as well with better search features and guild activities. City building will also be improved, which I am quite excited for. Some built-in city management tools would be handy, especially for mobile players who don't have access to FOE Helper or similar tools. Even more interestingly, they say they'd like to explore competitiveness between worlds. Could we finally get cross-world guild battlegrounds? That would enable much more even matchmaking and much more competitive seasons. There are also mentions of new reward systems outside of events, which is also very welcome. They do tell us that it will probably take a few years to fully address these goals, but it's encouraging to finally get communication from the developers towards what they're working on and where they see the game going. Some of the specific features they've mentioned are a new settlement and a buff to the rewards of previous settlements. I'm hoping this also means a slight rework or improvement to the mechanics so settlements are a little bit less tedious. 5 new difficulties for the guild expeditions for a total of 10 will be introduced as well. They will swap between red and blue stats more often, and the difficulty curve will be a lot smoother, but also get harder. I think this is a good sign that if you aren't investing in defense now, you will probably want to. It's a bit wild to think of how hard this feature will need to be to ensure it stays difficult for the next couple of years. How high will those enemy boosts get? Guild Battlegrounds will also get an overhaul to the league and matchmaking system, which is absolutely needed. They also stress that they want to build out features that do need those defense boosts, and use them as a way to allow players to specialize in specific boosts or be more balanced. and create ways for multiple playstyles to get rewards and be powerful instead of the standard meta of just more attack. In other words, they want there to be multiple ways to be competitive in the game. They'll also be holding 2 community sprints this year where players can vote on implementing ideas, so start looking forward to that. To specifically the Forge of Empires team, if you watch this, thank you for the recent increase in communication from the teasers to messages like this. It's nice being able to have more transparency and give us players a sense of your plan for the game. And that's all for these 2 weeks. Join us next time when we discuss the ongoing testing of quantum incursions. Or join my Discord server right now to be notified of game news as soon as I find out. And of course, as always, I'll see you all next time.